Hello, everybody, and welcome to Oakville Matters. Thanks to your TV, this is an opportunity to talk about the things that matter to Oakville as we grow livable. And today we're going to talk about the new community center and North Park development that Council and I are very excited to have brought forward from a future year in the capital budget to literally right away now. Joining us today are the town and regional councillor for the North Park area, everywhere north of Dundas, also known as Ward 7, Councillor Pavan Parmar, and Brent Copeland and Kendall Wayow. Brent is the acting senior manager of operations for recreation and culture, and Kendall is the brand new facilities and construction management director. Welcome, Kendall, in both senses of the word, and welcome, Brent and Pav. Councillor Parmar, you've got to be, I hope, the most excited member of council about this project. Why don't you talk a little bit about how come it was way out in the future in the capital plan and how we decided to bring it forward?
Thanks, Mayor Burton, for your introduction, and hello, everybody. Yes, I am definitely the most excited member on council, and probably one of the most excited residents as well, since I live quite close by to where this development will be. So initially in 2012, there was a study conducted which showed that a need for a community center in North Oakville would present itself when the population reached a certain level. I believe it was somewhere around the 60,000 mark. And today, North Oakville, we are growing exponentially, but we're not at 60,000. We're about at the 20,000 mark. But, a couple of things changed along the way. I mean, of course, there was the pandemic, and that really showed our council how important it is to have outdoor amenities available to our residents. And, we've been advocating on behalf of residents. I mean, when I knocked doors in 2018, the number one thing I heard from residents was, we need a community center. So quite a few different things fast-tracked the need for this outdoor park and community center in our community. And, council really worked hard under the leadership of Mayor Burton to bring this project forward. And we're just so thrilled. We just recently did a groundbreaking, and we can't wait for things to get started.
Now, the good news is that community centers are almost entirely paid for by what I'll call growth money to simplify, rather than new property taxes. There's a small portion of probably every community center that gets built with a little bit of help from property taxes. And our user fees and property taxes is what operates our community centers. Now, Brent, do you want to delve into the many features here? And because it's quite a list, and I think people will be surprised. I think everything we've heard is in this list.
I'd be pleased to. Yeah, thank you, Your Worship, and thanks for having me today. This site is just going to be jam-packed, full of awesome amenities for the community. I can maybe start with the park amenities, because that's actually what's coming on first. And as Councillor Parmar mentioned, we did have the groundbreaking last week. The contractor has been onboarded now, and we expect they'll be starting work, later this month on the park development. So that area will have two. So currently, right now on that area, it does have two turf fields, and we're going to be adding two more, and they're going to be they're both be lit, and one of them is going to be synthetic turf. There'll also be an outdoor fitness area, a field house to support those amenities, so the users on the fields will have an area to change and use the washroom. There'll be a cricket pitch, which is going to be a welcome addition to our field inventory. We'll have splash pads, skateboard parks, playgrounds. Another real neat amenity is going to be a bike pump track. And that's going to be new for Oakville, and several of the municipalities have that, and it is quite well received, I think, for our cycling and biking community. There will be an off-leash dog park as well there for for those pet-friendly users. We're going to be introducing outdoor basketball courts, sand volleyball courts, tennis courts, pickleball courts, you name it. So that is kind of all the outdoor amenities within the facility. There's going to be an 83,000 square foot community center. There'll be a very large library, the north end of the new addition, which will be about 18,354 square feet on its own. There'll be a double tank aquatic facility. So we'll have a 6-lane, 25-meter lap pool, and then a warm pool, for therapeutic, for, general swimming pleasure that'll be kept at a little bit warmer temperature. We're aiming for about 92 degrees for that. There'll be a double gymnasium. So that will have basketball, volleyball, pickleball, badminton, all enclosed in there. And there will be a dividing curtain. So you could have one large, it's an NBA size court, kind of running north-south, and then the dividing line can break it into smaller courts or a series of different configurations there. So excited to have that. We will have Oakville's longest walking and running track that will circulate that gymnasium and looking into all the different amenities. So there'll be on the upper floor, you'll be looking into the pool as you're running by, the gymnasium, into the galleria, into the beautiful park that surrounds it. They've really done an excellent job of designing that. Will be multi-purpose rooms as well. And, I think the general theme of this whole complex is, multi-purpose to really serve all, segments of the community and really offer a wide range of programs and opportunities to meet, the needs of all the community. So we're, tremendously excited for that to come on board as well. And this will be all connected to the existing 16-mile sports complex. So quite the project, and I really truly believe this will be something for everybody here.
Well, Kendall, you get to get your feet wet with the town and cut your teeth on this big project, arguably the biggest project that we've done in the way of community centers. Are you excited about that? Are you up to the job?
Thank you, Mayor Burton. Definitely excited, for sure. I hope I'm up to the job, but I will give it all I got. Definitely. I am excited to work on a lot of the environmentally friendly initiatives that are going into this facility, because that's something that is actually part of my DNA. I'm an architect by training, so I'm very interested in trying to make sure that what we build actually leaves the smallest footprint that it can. So very excited to be working on this project.
Oh, Kendall and
Go
Brent,
ahead.
how
Sorry.
will visitors notice the environmental friendliness of the North Park development? What will be most noticeable and beneficial to the surrounding residents?
Absolutely. Thank you, Councillor Parmar. You know what? Other than the trees and all of the pitches and stuff like that, the thing is, not a lot is going to be overtly noticeable to the residents and people who come to the facility. But that isn't a bad thing. That is actually a great thing, because we are providing for the residents something that was traditionally available, but drew a lot of energy and a lot of resources. And we're able to do that in a way that is using just a fraction of the resources that they used to do. One thing that will be noticeable, but probably only from above, is the photovoltaic panels that are going on the roof. So when people Google how do I get to the facility, they will see on Google all of the solar panels that are on the roof. What we will have to do is do a good job of storytelling. We're going to have to we're going to have to train our staff to talk about all of the amazing, environmentally friendly systems that we have in this space. The building is going to have to talk for itself as well. Maybe we have boards up or commercials come on the TVs that are throughout the building that say, hey, did you know that we have a geothermal system in here, and what that does is suck heat and energy out of the ground, and is a very, very efficient system. Or, hey, we have daylight harvesting in here. And what is that? It's as simple as turning off the lights when we don't need it because we got enough light to do what we have. But we're going to have to teach that. We're going to have to teach that, or at least be vocal about sharing those stories.
Well, one of the things that people don't appreciate, we haven't been that great about telling this story, but the coolest thing about 16 Mile Sports Complex has always been the heated seats in the Olympic size arena. And people love it, but they don't always know that that heat is waste heat from the ice compressors. And so, it's guilt-free seat heat. And there's enough energy there to continue that recycling and ecological approach in the rest of the new community center, as I understand it. Kendall?
Absolutely. There's going to be enough heat or reclaimed heat from the system that we have in place, but we're also adding this the geothermal system that I talked to before. It's going to be able to provide enough heat and cooling for both the new facility, and we're trying to hook up the existing facility to that. So we're taking something that is already a fairly efficient facility, and we're going to even make it way more efficient.
So Pavan, the consultation with the community was extensive to come up with, my goodness, the biggest feature list of any community center I can think of. And I'm wondering, I think we're still going to hear new ideas. Brent and Council are the ones who sort of deal with the designing the features, let's call it the design in, and Kendall is the one who gets to build the stuff. Have you heard of any additional features, Pavan, that people want that we haven't included?
Well, I mean, right now there is public consultation going on for the community center and the North Park development. And, that's really important to us because the end users of the development will be our residents. So public consultation really helps us understand what exactly our residents are looking for and what amenities and programs will best serve the population. And so we've had multiple focus group opportunities, and there's also a town-wide survey that's being conducted, which thank you to Brent and your team for extending it to July 18th. So if you're watching at home, you can head over to the Town of Oakville website to complete it, or you can visit my socials. I've posted it on my page as well. One of the interesting things I heard was rock climbing. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a way to incorporate that, but it's becoming quite popular in other community centers. I think we've seen some in the Peel region that have a rock climbing feature. So I'm not sure if we'll get it in as we have a full menu, as we just heard Brent go through all of the many amazing amenities that we have. But Brent, maybe you can share a little bit about the focus groups and the consultation and what type of feedback that we're hearing from residents.
Yes, absolutely, Councillor Parmar. So we initiated public consultation this past winter, and residents were given, opportunities to provide feedback on how they'll, use the wide range of amenities that we plan for the site. And feedback, has been overwhelmingly positive. Giving us a strong indication that the amenities that we have planned are, in keeping with the residents' desires. And that consultation led back, even back you know, years and years ago to when we were doing the master plan and looking at the parks, recreation and culture and libraries master plan. So that kind of fed into the recommendations for what the plans were for the park were going to be. And then, you know, we further refined those type of questions and got more, a little bit more specific and certainly into more programming elements as well to find out, you know, now that we've planned these great spaces, you know, how are we going to program? What types of programs would you like to see and would you participate in? Where have you seen in other municipalities? So, you know, we're working through some of that feedback to implement into our program plan for when the facilities do open to really, you know, meet those needs that have been expressed and you know, follow the trends in the industry that may be, you know, coming forward during that time as well. In addition to the public consultation, we've also done a promotional video for the North Park, which is something new. And I think, you know, to date, it's been viewed more than 4,000 times. And I think that, you know, that will likely be something that we'll do for you know, new parks and perhaps an update to this as construction starts to really update the community on the status of the project.
So Pav, the people who are watching us and also still engaging in consultation may wonder, given that we recently approved an increase in the budget for this project, they may wonder if there's room to add still more. And it's, you know, my view, the good news is, my view is, it's thanks to our incredibly healthy financial position, we can and could do that if we discover popular features that somehow or other haven't yet made it to the list, like rock climbing. So hopefully you can spread that news too, Councillor Parmar. You know, this is meant to be a big deal community center for a very big deal part of town. This part of town is the future of more ecological living, of less energy, more transit, fewer cars, and just a more neighborly, you know, it's a whole selection of little neighborhood centers designed to really facilitate the friendly, open, caring engagement that Oakville is famous for.
I also love what you say about it completing, you know, your goal, Mayor Burton, of having a community center in each ward of Oakville. So I think that's just, you know, fabulous news that we're going to have a community center that, you know, is in each part of our town.
Yeah, well, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, when I became mayor, we had 6 wards and 3 rec centers or community centers. And I always thought there ought to be one in every ward. During my time as mayor, we created the ward that you lead. And so that took us to 7 wards. And with this one, we will have 7 community centers. The growth that we're going to go through for the next 30 years is ordered by the province, and it's a function of all of the immigration that the federal government authorizes, which is an important part of growing our country and making a strong and healthy Canada. I mean, think about the employment, the jobs that we need people to fill. We've got 1 million unfilled jobs in our country, so we're attracting the best and the brightest from around the world. And then there's a lot of people who really want to do family reunification. That drives immigration as well. And so we're going to get our share of that. And that's why Council and I think it's so important that we grow livable. And what I'm sort of coming around slowly to say is there'll probably be a call for another community center or 2 or 3 over the next 30 years, because we're probably going to add 150,000 people over the next 30 years. That's only about a 2% per year growth. And when you say it that way, it doesn't sound like nearly as much as when you say we're going to add 150,000 people. But if you're here in 30 years, you're going to see a much more exciting town with a lot more things to do. So Pav, I think that kind of covers off why it's an important project, not only for the area of Oakville north of Dundas, but for the whole town. And after all, everybody's welcome at all of our community centers. You don't have to prove what ward you live in.
Exactly. Yeah.
And every one of our community centers is different. We don't have the same things. They're not all, I mean, every one of them is a unique installation. If we had a second one in Ward 7, in your ward, Councillor, I think it would be up Trafalgar in the vicinity of Burnhamthorpe. So there's something
Yeah,
else.
that would make sense for a second location in that area.
That's another thing to start imagining.
Yeah, I'm sure once we start speaking to the new residents that have moved into that area, it's going to be a request. So you might hear from me soon on that.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to Brent because something that I find so interesting about the community center is the design of that running track upstairs. So Brent, could you share with us a little bit more about what's gone into that design and the features of that track?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up, Councillor Parmar. So the upstairs location houses both a fitness center, there's a fitness studio, the multi-purpose rooms, and all of that is overlooking the below amenities. So the gymnasium, the aquatic facility, there's a large central galleria that connects right through to the existing arena. So if you've been in 16 Mile Sports Complex, that big long corridor connects all the way down to Wayow. So that running track is right up on top and circulates through all those amenities. So it was a really neat concept that the designer used. We've adopted a little bit of that at Oakville Trafalgar. If you've been to that facility where you kind of circle around and you're able to see the views of the park and the interior amenities. Well, this one, they pushed the end of the track out beyond the central corridor, the lobby area, so that you actually see views of the pool area. So once you're turning that corner, you'll come on the south side along the pool's edge. You'll come along on the east side. You'll be running along Wayow, looking out, over the nice landscaping and housing development there. You'll circle back kind of along which would be the north side. It'll be the library area. And then you'll come back into the fitness area again. So it'll give those runners and walkers a nice view and appreciation of the complex that they're part of. But it also will, by stretching it out, it makes it that much longer as well. So this will be our longest indoor walking track. The outside lap will be 160 meters. So I'm sure we'll have signs posted, how many laps they'll need to do to reach their, kilometer or mile, in terms of their workout for the day. So very excited to have that as part of our inventory of recreational amenities on this site.
So never a boring walk or run. I'm truly excited about that.
Well, Councillor, as I understand it, you are a runner yourself.
Yes,
And
I
I've
do
always
like to
been
run.
very impressed by that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm always paying attention to when our rec team talks about that track because, in our colder time of year, it's difficult to get outside. So I'm really looking forward to that. And what's great about the community center too is it's going to serve so much of our public that is within walking distance. So the location of it is key. Many of our residents in Ward 5 as well will be able to just walk right over. So that's also an excellent point as well.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I want to put a quick plug in for the fact that nevertheless, we're expanding the parking there.
Right, and we're including transit there as well, right? The transit stop is right in front of the community center because as the mayor mentioned, the community center and park is for all of Oakville, but I have to say I love walk to facilities everywhere in the town, so it's a bonus.
So when I was young, I ran on the indoor track at Hart House at the University of Toronto. And I'm not a runner. I just did it for fitness and recreation, but I'm not serious about running. But my friends told me that it was special because it was a hung floor, if that means anything. It was suspended from the ceiling. What is there anything special about what's our floor treatment for this that you're going to be running on? Because I know some runners tell me that it matters how hard the surface is and how much it springs or gives. What's going on
Yeah,
here?
so no, that's a great question. So these, the flooring used for the walking track as well as the fitness center is a rubberized flooring. So it has a bit of cushioning there. So from a therapeutic point of view, if you have any ailments or pain in your joints, it will help with that. Similarly, in the gymnasium floor, it's a sprung wood floor, and that is the same. It will have a bit of, shock absorption. So the upstairs will have, the rubberized Mondo flooring circulating. Similar at Oakville Trafalgar, we tended to put a different color in each lane to delineate the lanes and provide, greater accessibility as well. So that will be for the entire walking track. It is, you mentioned a hung floor. It is suspended, so it is kind of cantilevered out over the gymnasium. So three of those running tracks, lanes will be cantilevered over the gymnasium, and then the one will be kind of inset within the building. So that provides for the excellent viewing into the area, but it also doesn't expand the footprint, so you're having to add square footage utilizing that space within the gymnasium as well.
That sounds fabulous. I may even resume running, but very slowly.
We'd love to have you.
Pavan, is that a track that's going to attract you?
Yes, definitely. I think we're almost out of time now. So I did just want to end off by reminding residents that the survey, is still open, and we're looking for feedback on the programs, any other additional amenities. So please do take the time to complete it. I've sent out a newsletter to the community that has a QR code, so you can scan the QR code and get your information and feedback in.
Thanks very much for that. And I guess that shows that you are one very modern counselor. QR codes. I've never done that.
I try to be.
Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you were excited by what we've got planned for this fabulous community center. And we'll see you next time on Oakville Matters.